G'day guys, Jackson Millan, the Wealth Mentor here. Hope you're doing well. What do you think of the shirt? Good? No? So I had a great question the other day by one of my new clients, and she was asking me, Jackson, how do you manage all of the competing priorities that happen in business? We get pulled in all directions, and how do we avoid ending up with 50 half-built bridges, and how do we actually get the right things done? How do we choose out of all of those projects which one should take precedent or priority, and essentially where should we be allocating most of our time? Phenomenal question. Now here's the thing, guys, when we get into business, we're always going to have competing priorities, and I find this is the most often overlooked factor of being an entrepreneur. We think that we can just focus on our craft, focus on delivering value to our clients, and we just kind of take for granted everything else that comes with being a business owner. There's always so many little things that kind of creep up and end up just consuming all of our time. So I was speaking to her around the typical way that people go about running their business and the proper way that you should go about running your business to ensure that you're always focusing on the right priorities that are going to help you push the needle forwards. So let's talk about how people get this wrong. Firstly, people get this wrong because they start with just doing the activity. They typically get stuck in the low value activity we refer to as the sand that ends up consuming all of their time little by little. And for that reason, they don't have time for the pebbles, the rocks, and the boulders that are actually adding the most value. Think about it this way. If you had a vessel, let's call it a vase, and you wanted to fill that vase with the optimal amount of volume where you consumed all of the space. If you had boulders, rocks, pebbles, and then sand, what would you put in first? Well, of course, you'd start with the boulders, right? You'd fit them in, and then you'd then start putting in the rocks. They'd kind of fall around the gaps. Then you'd put in your pebbles, and then you'd put in your sand. But the issue is that most of us don't treat and run our business that way. Now, it's all good in theory. I'm sure you've heard all of these things before, but how do you actually put it into practice? So I created a really simple framework, and once you hear it, it's going to be crazily simple, but it's really, really effective. The first thing we need to do is we need to get clear and get started with the goal that we're trying to achieve. Start with the end in mind. If we set the goal and we crunch the numbers on that, we should reverse engineer that into an income target. So for your personal goals, how much income do you need to achieve to allow you to achieve those goals? Then, from that income target, we need to reverse engineer that into a profit target. Of course, the taxman's going to take their slice. So how much would you need to earn in profit to allow you to earn that level of income? Now, to hit that level of profit, then what would our top line revenue need to be in our business? So, considering the costs to serve, your variable costs, your fixed cost, what would you need to earn to make that level of profit? And then to earn that amount of revenue, what would you need to do in your business? What are the KPIs or what levers would you need to pull to allow you to achieve that outcome? Now, this seems counterintuitive, but it is super, super simple. I did this with a client recently who runs a really successful web design agency. We're able to work out that by understanding the goal, and the goal was getting the business to a $5 million valuation, we identified, well, okay, in order to achieve that goal, then what would the business need to do and what levers would we need to pull? We identified that if he was able to increase his volume by 10% and his price by 10%, that he'd be able to double the value of his business in 12 months. So it is about approaching it from starting with the end in mind, reverse engineering this backwards, and then deciding on the activity that you need to do to keep yourself on track. We have a project activity tracker for all of our clients that makes it really, really simple to have a visual view of what you need to be working on at any point in time. So if you want some help, better project planning in your business, if you want to get out of the distractions that are really consuming all of your time, making you spin the wheels and end up with all these half-built bridges, and if you want a more effective planning framework that's going to help you link the activity in your business to the outcomes that you really want to achieve, then hit us up. Drop into the DMs with the word plan. We'll have a conversation. I'll see how I can help you. And then we'll help you get some clarity around what the next best step should be for you to smash the lights out. We'll chat to you soon.